Welcome in and welcome back. We're here for a trailer review. We got the new trailer for the 2020 edition of Dune. And I have to be upfront with this. I have no experience either with Dune, the novels, or Dune, the movies. So this is not going to be a fanboy review. This is going to be a trailer review from someone completely outside of the entire mythos that will be good for some things and bad for others, as I will not have any idea whether or not this is close or far from the source text. In fact, here's one thing that is interesting. I've known several sci-fi heads, several people who were real sci-fi fans, pretty hardcore, and readers at that, not just movie sci-fi fans, but literature sci-fi fans. I've never known anyone that finished the book, let alone the series. So take that for what it is worth. First off, it is absolutely necessary to mention, to notice how visually stunning this trailer really was. It seems to not only have its palette, and that is, so the colors involved, but all of the cinematography in general is, it brings you into the movie, which is something that is unfortunately seemingly a dying art form in Hollywood. Things that are easy to, it's as if a lot of films these days just say, well, fuck it, we'll get the shot. This film does not do that. It seems to have framing and context all in the shots, at least what's used in the trailer. Look, it's obviously necessary to say that this could be an absolutely vapid movie. There's no ensuring that it's not. But from the trailer itself, it seems to be a movie that has its direction, that has its story down, whose characters understand what those characters are there for. These are important things. These are things that often add up in order to be a good movie, and not some hollow shell of an hour and a half. The one thing that's absolutely critical to observe is what's in the box. Now, moving on to the actors involved, I am so glad that Oscar Isaac is done with both Star Wars and Apocalypse. Look, the Star Wars movies were, I don't know what to say about the Star Wars movies, but the Apocalypse character is one of the absolute greatest characters in all of Marvel Comics, and one of the best villains in all of comics, period. Was not done justice. Hopefully, Oscar Isaac gets a chance at many, many, many big roles, because this is a guy who is not only talented, but when he's on screen and he has a grasp of his character, you can't help but look at him, and it looks like, you can't help but watch him, and it looks like this is one of those characters, indeed, that he has in Dune. Looks like he's playing somebody pretty important. I don't know who that is. I claim ignorance. I'm sorry. Moving on. Jason Momoa and Dave Bautista playing Guy's Guy and Massive Thug, respectively. These are the roles these guys were born to play. It is strange that Aquaman worked out in the way it did and became a billion-dollar film. It is strange that Guardians of the Galaxy worked out the way it did, and Dave Bautista ended up being one of the most memorable good guys on film in the Marvel franchise, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But Guy's Guy is the role Jason Momoa was born to play, and Massive Thug is the role that Dave Bautista was born to play. And they both seem to be perfectly cast here for what it is that they are doing. So that is good. Zendaya. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, Zendaya. Timothy Chalamet. I have no idea how to say this guy's name, but he looks like he was born to play Edward IV. I think, if my history is not fleeing from me, Edward IV was the pretty boy, the English pretty boy king. I might be wrong. I think it was Edward IV. Doesn't that look like what this guy is born to play? In the role of apparently Harry Potter in this universe, the guy who was born with superpowers that no one knew about until, boy, they sprang up in the middle of the day one time. I don't know what happens here, but he seems to be set up in that role. There's no way that someone that looks like he looks, fights next to Jason Momoa and they end up being buddies without him being the super secret, super powered individual. When is Josh Brolin going to give up and just play Patton? I just want a movie where Josh Brolin is Patton. That's all I want. At that point, Americana is complete, and we can just call it. We can call it a day on the country. The main irony that I can see from this trailer, boy, it looks good, right? And it feels like Dune, a story which played so heavily into the inspiration for Star Wars and the Star Wars visuals, might come along and usurp the cinematic sci-fi fan base that did belong to Star Wars, as Star Wars has crashed and Dune is coming out. It is strange the way things play out sometimes, and obviously that has not happened, but it looks like it very well might. It looks like the next generation of kids growing up on sci-fi, their stories might come in the shape of Dune as opposed to Star Wars. So that is all that I have for this Dune trailer review, and I hope to see you tomorrow for another video here on the channel.